Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Portsmouth Public Media and tonight's inaugural awards presentation. Sponsored by Donahue, Tucker and Chindella, dedicated to clients. Physicians Healthy Weight Center. Our physicians make the difference when it comes to getting to your healthy weight. Piscataqua Savings Bank, Portsmouth's local bank since 1877. And Solidus Writing Services, helping individuals and businesses communicate more effectively. And now, please welcome Portsmouth Mayor, the Honorable Robert J. Lister.
People on an everyday basis. I look around the room and everyone in this room could receive an award for inspiration. And the second thing that's really important is that in this city, the city of Portsmouth, we recognize people who inspire others, and that's really important. And that's really what community is all about. So I just want to say congratulations to everyone. Have a great time, and welcome, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. Thank you.
Our world revolves around the passions we possess and the inspirations we gain from those passions and from others that surround us. Author John Updike is quoted as saying, "Inspiration arrives as a packet of material to be delivered." And tonight, PPMtv presents a packet of inspiration in the form of 3 exceptional individuals who have made a difference in the lives of the Portsmouth community. Good evening. I'm Bill Humphreys, Executive Director of PPMtv, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to tonight's Inspiration Awards. Inspiration. It comes to each of us individually in various ways and through various channels. Some find it in the beauty of our surroundings, some through the creativity our lives experience, and others in the vibrant energy of youth. The seacoast of New Hampshire cradles an amazing number of inspirational individuals and community members who often fly under the radar, and yet they affect our lives tremendously. We can feel it, we can see it, and we can hear it, but at times it's difficult to pinpoint its source. PPMTV's mission is to help people answer the question, what's your story? And with that in mind, we are delighted to share 3 stories with you tonight of individuals who have enriched the Portsmouth area in their own quiet ways, and to honor them as the first recipients of PPMTV's Inspiration Awards. Michael Warhurst has flown under the proverbial radar for over 40 years, and yet his work has penetrated us all through his unique style of artistry. Here now, a glimpse into the story of Michael Warhurst.
I'm a very spiritual person, and I meditate since, college days when there was a TM course going on at UNH. I said, oh, how much is the course? Oh, it's $40. So I took the course, and I've been meditating ever since then, and I've done yoga for many years. But it's a spiritual thing, so I get, and I'm a hard worker. I've always kind of been a hard worker, so I get satisfaction of just pushing myself, and but in a good way, not in a bad way. And yeah, my favorite time of the day is sunrise. So there's just a peacefulness. The sun hasn't come up yet, and this is obviously when the season is ongoing. And there's just a certain smell in the air. There's a certain light that hits things differently. There aren't many people around, and you get to see your work also. So that's which I like to work, and so you see your results, and occasionally someone will give a compliment, which is always nice. I guess it started back when I used to work on golf courses when I grew up in Long Island. And then subsequently I decided to go back to school because I had taken some time off. And so that was in the winter of maybe 74 or 5. And so Charlie Williams at the time approached the existing trustees about bringing the horticultural garden, the All-American garden, from the Durham Madberry Farms down to Prescott Park, which would obviously give more viewing. So I was just there at the right time. I was a work-study student for Charlie, and came down. We got a sod cutter and started stripping, and I got a job at the park, and have been there ever since. And so it encompasses the park, what you see on the grounds. It includes Fortree Island. It includes the marina, and it also includes, you know, all the infrastructures in the park. The formal garden, where the Japanese crabapple trees are, and the fountains is what I design and lay out, and as far as that goes, and the other anchor bed, etc., and other places throughout the park. The trial beds more or less are plants that we're showing examples, kind of like a living catalog of sorts. So the main change in the garden has been when, I think it's been now 4 years, maybe 4 years, where there was a disease of the impatiens, a downy mildew specific to them. So we bought 5,000, you know, planted 5,000 impatiens, and you could just see this progressive decline where they were just collapsing on themselves. So intermittently we would add more plant material to them, and then subsequently, you know, we lost, you know, just about all of them. And it becomes a soil-borne disease, so it doesn't get out of the soil, and you're not going to be able to dig out. So it takes maybe about 3 or 4 years to be allowed supposedly to plant the impatiens, but I'd be hesitant to, you know, plant 5,000 plants again and risk, you know, losing them. So because of that, the last few years, maybe it's been 3 years now or 4, we've changed that particular design, or I've changed the design underneath the crabapple trees. Oh my gosh, photographers are all over the place. Painters, people setting up easels, poets. You know, it has been like an oasis, or it's a respite, but it's a spot where people really do just like to walk through the park and just enjoy and reflect, really. And people have worked in the park even 30 years ago will still pop in and say hi and say what a great job it was, and often they say it was the best job they ever had. And most students that came from UNH, when ones would come from UNH, would tend to be English majors, philosophy majors, psych majors, and usually something is going on in their lives that they need this kind of work. That often has been the case. So there's just a real essence of, you know, that makes you feel good, you know, and is rewarding. Oh, I think that's a given when you see anything beautiful, whatever it is that inspires somebody to have a thought or to be creative themselves. You know, it all, you know, pushes someone in that direction or gives them a thought, whether it's just the sound of the leaves from the wind or what have you. And so that essence of the flowers, of the arts festival, of the strength of the river that, you know, that we get to see every day is, you know, terrific. And the fact that it's all, even though it is city-owned land, but it's operated out of a trust, and so there's that essence of working for a nonprofit in a sense, even though I do get paid. There's just a lot of good about it. Just what the park stands for, and it's just a great place to be. It's a great place to listen to music, and we're fortunate to have it. I mean, you know, every winter, at least once or twice a year, I'll go to the Prescott Sisters gravesite and say a prayer and thank them for the park, and I feel very blessed and fortunate to be able to work there as long as I have. So.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Michael Warhurst.
Well, I think the video was pretty explanatory of the wonderful times I have had at Prescott Park and the wonderful people I've gotten to meet and work with. And also in the community, the great people I've also gotten to get to know and share moments with. And it's been awesome for me, and I surely would do it all over again. 40 years back, I'd do it again. So it's been great for me. So thank you very much.
The magic of theater, concerts, dance, and live entertainment
is made even more magical through the selfless displays of expertise, craftsmanship, skill, talent, and time of those who are never seen on stage, those who willingly never take a bow. Such is the case with our next recipient of the PPMtv Inspiration Award. She is known unquestionably to every actor, seamstress, designer, director, stagehand, technical theater artisan, and performing arts professional in the area. Not to mention an innumerable amount of performing arts venues for miles and miles around, where she has worked and inspired all of us. Performer, artist, technician, designer, and, whether you know it or not, audience member alike. It's my pleasure to present a closer look at my friend, Jana Morris.
It was my freshman year was his first year as a professor there. He was the intro to theater professor as well as the theater history professor. The intro to theater class was Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, something. So it was the very first class that freshman theater majors had in college ever. We're all in the theater. Lights go down. This dates me. A cigarette is lit and lights come up, and he opens your college experience with the opening monologue of Equus, and then said, if you can think of anything that you can do besides theater and be happy in your life, get the out, because we don't need you. And one of the few things that truly scares me is the idea of not being able to. Oh, I should probably take off my, well, no, this is what I look like all the time with my sunglasses up. I should not take my sunglasses off. I mean, I don't look like this all the time, but my sunglasses are on my head all the time.
Jana is the hardest working person that I have maybe ever met, especially in the Seacoast theater scene. She is constantly positive. I think she always finds a way to say, sure, we can figure that out. And even if she doesn't know how to do it at the time, she'll work her tail off to try to make something work for you. And she's infinitely patient, which is such a wonderful and beautiful trait.
So how do I do? I just go. I try not to
I admire her tenacity. I think she attacks projects and has so many things on her plate at the same time and is constantly just moving forward, and she could, more than many people I know, easily get on the track if I can't do this, and I've never seen that from her. And it's very inspiring.
Well, I'm Jana Morris, and I am the production manager and historian at the music hall. Do a little bit of everything. I have had a hand in almost every theater company or group around. I do some work with Seven Stages Shakespeare,
Seacoast Repertory Theater,
New Hampshire Theater Project,
the Players Ring, Ken Stevens Stage Force.
She's been the historian and production manager for the music hall.
Prescott Park. Did a handful of things at Strawberry Bank.
Midnight Theatricals,
Rochester Opera House, PBT Films. Let's see, I don't know, name other companies and I'll tell you whether or not I worked for them.
It's a pretty fascinating dynamic, and I think if you're not familiar with the theater world, there's a chance you're familiar with the sports world, and I would say that it's similar to an umpire or a referee, where the best people at their jobs are the ones you never notice. It takes a great stage manager, runs a show so smoothly that there are no glitches, there are no flaws. So they tend to stay out of the limelight because they're just so effective at their job.
Probably a lot of stage managers and a lot of people who work behind the scenes. One of the reasons why we work behind the scenes is because we don't want to be out front. We don't get that rush that performers do. And In some cases, we have a fear to get that. And yeah, I do take, it's not, I don't know if it's joy or pride. I think it's funny that people are surprised by how much we don't crave that.
I also think she has such a love for the arts and is so passionate and so motivated to want to be a part of that in any way, and is often the heartbeat of many of the works that are done.
In some cases, it's because someone asks. And I can do it. If someone asked me to do something when I couldn't do it, I wouldn't. But a lot of the things that I've done with other companies have been because someone said, "Hey, would you like to?" It's sort of like saying, that asking your kid to choose only an instrument or a sport, and even if they love doing both, so.
I've worked with her on projects where when you do say thank you, or if you give her a card or a gift, for a closing present, she truly is moved to tears. It's the last thing that she would ever expect. And she's just so surprised, and I think it's really special and meaningful to her, because she's just like, I'm here because I have to be, because I want to be, and there's no other choice because she loves it so much.
I'm aware that I'm very blessed.
Please welcome the one and only Jana Morris.
Jana, on behalf of PPMtv and the community you've touched by your tremendous contributions to the world of theater, it's my pleasure to present you with the PPMtv Inspiration Award for 2015. Thank you so much. Would you like to say a word?
Only to say that, as you could tell from that, I'm not used to being in front of the audience, other than, as I made a joke downstairs, usually when I'm standing in front of a crowd, it's to tell people that they have to evacuate safely. And fortunately, that does not happen very often in any of the venues that I work in. But thank you to the community, and I'm, like I said, I'm blessed to be able to do the work that I do, and that people want to keep asking me, because I do want to keep saying yes. So, thank you.
The energy of youthful expression through music is cultivated and harvested through mentorship. The growth of an individual's passion through that self-expression can be witnessed in the work of this year's third recipient of the Inspiration Awards. We ask you to take this retrospective look at the work of Eric Gagnon.
My name is Eric Gagnon, and I am the band director at Portsmouth High School. I first decided I wanted to be a teacher when I got involved in doing some teaching. Now, I went to school for music, not because I wanted to be an educator. I was one of those band geek kids that, that was the only thing I really connected with. And when I went, I still wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So I went for a couple of years. I went to UMass Lowell, and then did the time to take a break because I wasn't sure what direction to go. So got out of college for a couple of years, worked a bunch of part-time jobs, many of which included teaching marching bands. And it was at that time that I was also marching in drum corps. I was the drum major of the Crusaders, so that was an all-encompassing position. So trying to balance life and school and drum corps, was a challenge for me. But what it did do is it gave me many opportunities to be involved in that kind of structuring of a program, and whether it was dealing with the logistics of equipment and uniforms and transportation, or instruction and teaching and working with kids, that started me down that path. And then it got to the point where when I aged out of drum corps and they said no more, I think it was time for me to say, all right, this is the direction I'm going to go. So being involved in that activity, I think, helped me to focus not just on music, but on being more of a music educator, specifically using my skills with marching, to get into a band program. And I couldn't have hit it better, than to fall into Portsmouth. The core group is the Clipper Band. And about 20 years ago, I had made the decision to have marching band and concert band be essentially one combined group. So if you're in band, you get the whole experience. I was there, I remember sitting at band camp one of my first few years, and we sat around it was a one rehearsal session, the week before school. I think we met for 3 hours, and the 13 or 14 of us got a pizza and decided how we were going to get through the fall, and I think it's pretty funny that, one of those students who was in that small group at the little pizza party, trying to figure out what we were going to do, is now one of my colleagues at the middle school, Courtney Randall. We kind of go to that competition level, and the skill set of the instructors is very specialized. We had a hard time finding them, so it was, all right, let's grow them. So what's happened is we've, as the group has grown over the years, the students that have graduated every year, one or two will come back and help us in some capacity. This is my 21st year in the system, and it's gone by really fast. I joke with the kids that, the seniors who are going to graduate, I said, you're going to send me your kids. This was the first year that I had kids that said, hey, Mr. Gagnon, this is my daughter, and she's going to be in your program now, and I was in your program, so this was a milestone year for me where I actually had that, my first children of my kids coming into the band. I'm anticipating, more of that now, and I'll probably be in a walker, or something, I'm not planning on going anywhere. I love what I do. I've got a great community. Yes, one of the things that I thought was an important aspect, at least for us, was to give the kids that carrot, that reward of, if you are going to be committing so much of your time to be in our program. Band is not just a class. If you're in band, you're part of marching band, and that means lots of long hours and lots of weekends and nights. And if you're going to do that, I'd like to be able to take you on a trip. What better than to go to Disney every 4 years? So students who are in the high school band here, if they stay with the program for all 4 years, one of those years, they'll go on the trip of their lives. They'll go to Disney World for a week with all their friends, and they'll get to perform in front of thousands of people. I think it's about building community, and I think that we've got a great community that we've built within the band. It's a social activity for them, in addition to being an activity where they can, focus on music and excellence. And I think that sense of being together as a group, and all in, is something that has worked well and has helped us to build our numbers. It's people want to be part of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Gagnon.
I see. Are my lines on there for me to read in the top? No, okay. Ad lib. All right, that's what it says. Just a couple of thank yous. I want to thank my parents, my mom who was able to come up from Florida. I want to thank them for allowing me They allowed me and they trusted me to find my way through those difficult times of high school and college, especially when you take those couple of years off and you're not quite sure what you're going to do. I can imagine how that must be for a parent, wondering where that road's going to take you. So I want to thank them for trusting me to find my way. I want to thank my wife and my daughter for trusting me to help us build our life in this wonderful community. And it is. We are so fortunate and so blessed in this community, the Seacoast and Portsmouth in particular. And I want to thank the kids and the parents in Portsmouth for trusting me to give them experiences that will hopefully last them a lifetime. So thank you very much. Thank you.
PPMtv is honored to acknowledge these three amazing individuals for the contributions that they have made in the Portsmouth community and enriching our lives and the lives of so many.
Journalist Bill Moyers has stated, "The terrible terror of our work is the cookie-cutter formula. Stamp it out, stamp it out. The limitation of form is a tyranny to the spirit." It's through the passion, compassion, and inspiration of Michael Warhurst, Jonna Morris, and Eric Gagnon that this statement is manifested into reality.
We thank them for the inspiration they've offered us as a community and for all they will inspire in the years to come.
And we thank you for being with us tonight to join in their celebration.
On behalf of the staff, board,
and members of PPMtv,
we wish you all a good night. Tonight's Inspiration Awards is made possible by Donahue, Tucker, and Chindella, dedicated to clients. Physicians Healthy Weight Center. Our physicians make the difference when it comes to getting to your healthy weight. Piscataqua Savings Bank, Portsmouth's local bank since 1877. And Solidus Writing Services, helping individuals and businesses communicate more effectively.